Hello, how are you? Are you focused? Good. Today we're going to talk about the differences between Creed Aventus, Nishane Hacivat and Armaf CDNIM Intense Man. So if you want to hear about the differences between these fragrances, which one performs best and overall which one I would recommend, stay right there. I'm going to start off with the famous Creed Aventus. Now I am quite late to the Aventus game. I only got into my fragrance journey about 2 years ago, so I'd missed all the previous batches of Aventus, which I'll talk about in another video. Today is not really the time to go through all the different batches. This is a recent batch. I find it's very fruity, very pineapple. The pineapple is very realistic, very juicy. I like the apple and blackcurrant, but it's not smoky and it's not very oak mossy, if that makes sense. It's not very green. It's a really fruity, fresh fragrance. Great for summer holidays, I would suggest. Really good out of the shower fragrance, and sometimes, let's face it, you're just in the mood for Aventus. In terms of performance for Aventus, I don't get the best performance from it, to be honest, whether that's because of the batch or it's my skin. I typically wear heavy, gourmand, oriental fragrances. That's what I prefer most. That's what my skin really works well with, those sweet, heavy fragrances. So I don't typically wear fresh fragrances all that much. But I typically get around, I would say, 5 hours with 1 hour projection from Aventus. But it is a lovely fragrance and I can really appreciate it, and that's why I have it in my collection. Now this one had to grow on me. I really didn't particularly enjoy this when I first got it. This is Nishane's Hacivat. Now, like a lot of you, I read comparisons on review sites. I watched some YouTube videos about comparing Hacivat to Aventus and how this is the new strong version. Everyone should get this. This is the Aventus killer. When I first got this, I didn't agree with those interpretations because I found this to be way too green. The oak moss in this is very strong, especially as you get past the opening. The opening is fantastic. It's a pineapple grapefruit opening, so it's very similar to Aventus because it's juicy, it's fruity, and it smells very similar. But those fade away fairly quick, and you're left with the heavy oak moss green notes. And like I said, I didn't enjoy it at first, and I couldn't really see the comparisons to Aventus past that. And in some ways, I still don't see the comparisons to Aventus past the opening. But recently, I've started to really love this fragrance, especially in the kind of weird transitional weather that we're having now. So we're in between winter and spring, and I think this is where this comes out. This works fantastically well when it's not too cold and it's not too warm. And I'll tell you what, I wore this to the gym last week. Now I don't get compliments when I'm at the gym for wearing fragrances. Sometimes I'm not wearing a fragrance, and a lot of the time I've got my headphones over my head, so I'm just in my element and I'm doing my own thing, so people don't tend to disturb you when you're wearing big over the ear headphones. But I was wearing this in the gym last week, and 2 people in the space of, I'm going to say 15 minutes, tapped me on the shoulder and asked me what I was wearing. They said they could smell it throughout the whole gym as I was working out. So I think that is a testament to, 1, how much people like this DNA, and 2, how well it performs. It's an extrait de Parfums concentration, and I think it does perform excellently and a lot better than Aventus. If you've heard of Creed Aventus and Nishane Hacivat, no doubt you've heard of this one. This is Armaf CDNIM Intense Man. I believe there's 3 or 4 different versions. This one is the EDP concentration. I wouldn't go for the eau de toilette. I would just spend the extra few quid and get the eau de parfum. The opening in this is very rough. It's not going to be smooth and refined like the Hacivat, like the Aventus. It's a bit more aroma chemically, if that makes sense. You can really smell that it's a cheaper version of those two. But once you get past that, once you go 10, 15, 20 minutes in, you're going to be, I'm going to say, 85% similar to Aventus. It's not as similar to Hacivat simply because Hacivat is a lot more green, and this is a carbon clone. Of course it is. This is a carbon clone of Creed Aventus. So this is going to run you around £30 for 100ml. Aventus is around about, what, £270 now. So for 85% of the fragrance at, what, 15% of the price, you can go for this. It's hard for me to say now, I recommend you buy Aventus over this. It depends on your morals, I suppose. If you want to support clone houses, or if you want the specific, the beautiful opening and everything perfect like it is in Aventus, or you can see past that and you can save your money, save 200 odd pounds and buy this. Well, that is really up to you. For me, I like having Aventus. I like to smell it every now and again. I really enjoy the opening. I like the fact that it's a game changer in the perfume world. They started off the fresh fragrances for the men anyway. That's how Bleu de Chanel was born, how Dior Sauvage was born. But also, when you don't want to spend so much money and wear Aventus all the time, this is a great option. This is Club de Nuit Intense Man. Now on to which one I prefer. At the moment I am really enjoying this Nishane Hacivat a lot more than I did when I first got it, and I'm wearing this actually really regularly now. I think it's wonderful, so I really do recommend this. They're all kind of good for their own thing. It's hard to nail, to put a pinpoint on exactly which one I would prefer. This one is a lot more green, a lot more musky. So if you're looking for a fragrance that's similar to Aventus but greener, more musky, Hacivat is the one to go for. If you want the original Aventus and you don't mind spending the money and you don't want to look at any clones or anything, go for Aventus. And if you're on a budget, go for the Club de Nuit Intense Man. Now I'm going to show you just one more before we go. A new fragrance I've got in that is comparable to the three. So a fragrance that is comparable to those three is this. This is from Navitus Parfums. I recently placed an order with them. This one is called Primas. Beautiful packaging. Really, really like the packaging. Now this is from perfumer George Lee, very famous perfumer, and it has top notes of bergamot, green apple, grapefruit, mid notes, patchouli, cedarwood, base notes, oak moss, dark amberwoods and musk. So this is going to be very similar, it is very similar to Nishane's Hacivat, and I think the presentation is beautiful. It's a really nice fragrance. I think this would be a very good alternative. So if you've got Hacivat already and you really like it, or you're not sure which one to get, this is another great option. Now this has similar notes to Hacivat, but it's got green apple in the opening. So you haven't got the pineapple, so the pineapple is taken away. It's not as juicy, but it's way more green. So it's a real green, earthy, almost a greener, earthier version than Nishane Hacivat, so we're moving further away from Aventus. So I'm not going to compare it to Aventus, but I will compare it to Nishane's Hacivat. So check this one out, guys. This is Navitus Primus. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Please let me know down in the comments which one you would prefer. Are you a Aventus fanboy or fangirl? Do you like the clone that is Armaf Club de Nuit Intense Man, or are you going to go for the greener, bolder Hacivat or Navitus Primus? Remember, don't be a dreamer, be a visionary, and I'll see you with another video soon. Take care.